My name is Eddie Lee Simpson.
When were you born?
10/20/33,
So you're how old, Mr. Simpson?
89,
Where were you born?
Union County.
Were you born at home?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Who were your parents?
My dad was R.C. Simpson. My mother was Emma Simpson.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I don't have any brothers. They deceased.
I see. Did you live in New Albany or out in the county
Now,
when you were growing up?
in Union County,
What was your deceased brother's name?
Arthur Lee Simpson and Larry Jefferson.
How old were you when you first started to school?
Lord. I really don't know, because we had to pick cotton and all that stuff before school. When school started, we didn't start on time, so I really don't know how old I was.
What was the first school you attended?
Union County, UCTS.
Uh-huh. In the wintertime, how did you keep warm in that school?
Wooden heater,
Who chopped the wood?
that I don't know.
You didn't have to do that.
No, ma'am.
What was the first sport you played?
Football.
And you were how old, a teenager or?
I were around 15, about 15.
And you were playing on the school team?
Yes, ma'am.
What other teams did you play?
We played a team from other schools.
Okay.
Do you recall some of those names of the schools?
Tupelo, Echo, Ripley, Booker T. Washington in Tennessee, Mileston, Cleveland, Woodstock in Tennessee, Melrose, Tennessee. They were all black schools. Well, the new gym, it was. I didn't play in it.
Okay.
I played in the old.
In the old gym. Do you recall when the school burned?
I remember, but I don't know what year it was.
I think it burned in 1943. So you would have been about 10 years old if my recollection is right. You would have been in school probably,
Yes, ma'am.
elementary school.
Mhm.
So after the school burned, did y'all go to school in the churches? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. And yes, ma'am. And I think it was Watson Grove and different churches. Not no different churches, but Watson Grove, and we went to school in the barracks.
Right.
That's where we went most of the time.
They put up army barracks after that school burned. Am I
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Uh-huh. Did you attend classes in the new school?
Yes, sir.
What year did you graduate?
56.
1956.
Mhm.
You played basketball too, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Who were some of your teammates?
Arthur Simpson, Junior Newton, Wallace Longers, and John Adam Davis, Billy Joe Taylor, and Albert Bell, Willie James Kimmon. And Sonny Kilpatrick, Billy Ball, Frank Murray.
When you said the name Billy Ball, are we talking about the same Billy Ball who became a famous musician?
Yes,
So he played basketball with you, huh? Well, what kind of team did y'all have? Were y'all a winning team?
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell me something about that. I've been told that there was a 7-year winning streak for boys basketball at Union County Training School in maybe the late 40s, early 50s. Can you tell me something about that?
The winning streak for UCTS is, I believe, way higher than that, because the pictures of them guys,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't hardly lose a game. I mean, it was, I don't know how many games they played, but I say 30 out of 34 games, they might lose one. And that went up until I played on the first five in 650, 54. And we would play, I say out of the 3 years, we would play about 90 something games, and we lose maybe 4 out of that 90.
That's a good record. What position did you play?
Guard.
Guard. You're tall and you could block those shots, couldn't you? Who was the top scorer that you recall? Who made the most points?
My brother Arthur Lee.
I've heard his name mentioned a lot as a real good basketball player. So did y'all play at home, you and your brothers?
Yes, ma'am. We played at home and in other Beasley Sundry.
Mm-hmm. Sundries.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember them fixing hamburgers, but they served just about everything else. Oh yeah, Miss Leola Gibson.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Wade Ivory and Miss
Miss Fanny Dunn.
yeah.
Miss Fanny Dye.
She has a restaurant there.
I haven't heard of that. Was it just called Dye's Restaurant?
I guess the Miss Fanny Dunn, she was running one right there where used to be Mr. Gibson and play.
Yes, she was between Mr. Gibson and Mr. Ivory.
So on the break, we remember was the Senate downtown, where it is now.
Yeah.
And we couldn't go through that front door, you know, you had to go around to the.
You had to go up and sit in the
In
balcony.
the balcony.
Right. Was that the only movie house that y'all went to when y'all were growing up?
That's the only one.
The Ritz,
What was that?
Ritz,
I don't
that
know.
was downtown.
Oh, okay.
It was on a little further toward the river, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I think it burned at one time. What kind of things did y'all do for fun when you were kids? Like, what would you get for Christmas?
A baby doll,
Yeah.
a set of dishes. Bob got some trucks and some guns.
Mm-hmm.
Wagons,
Yeah.
scooters, and cap gun.
Mhm.
Did you play marbles?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, well.
Did y'all grow your own food? Did you have a garden?
My grandmother had one. We lived next door to her. And she had a large garden.
So did you have to shell peas, pick butter beans, and
Yes, ma'am.
did y'all have to milk cows?
Had to do it.
Milk cows?
No, my mother did. She did that, but I tried, but I didn't have no luck at it. So no, I didn't get no cow.
Do you recall your mom churning butter and
Yes, ma'am.
kind of the things that people that grow up on a farm had to do?
Yes, ma'am.
So what were your chores?
I was churning. That was my biggest job in the cow business, is churning butter.
Uh-huh. How far did you live from town, or did you live in town?
I lived south of town. I guess maybe you might say about maybe a half a mile
So how did you get to school?
walk.
You walked? Mm-hmm.
Goat City is not too far from here.
Mm-hmm.
And Dome, I didn't live too far from Dome. And the Hollow is over by,
Goose Hollow.
Goose Hollow.
Goose Hollow.
Goose Hollow, yeah.
Stephen Quarter.
Stevens Quarters.
Mhm.
Wasn't there a little restaurant or hamburger place, like if you're going down the hill, right there? I'm trying to think of the man's name that ran it.
In Stephen Quarter.
Going down the hill to the Stevens Quarters. Bud Turner's Cafe.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Bud Turner. Oh, yeah, that was over there.
Do y'all remember going to Bud Turner's
Oh,
Cafe?
yeah, boy.
I've heard he was a really good cook.
That was the place to go,
Yes.
Bud Turner.
That's where Sam Mosley said that he played the first time.
Oh, yeah. We used to go down there, and we weren't supposed to go down to that place. We sneak out so we get down there. That was mostly for grown folks. And
Yeah. Well, I've heard that there was a hotel there. I think the hotel was torn down in 1950, and it was called Annie Brown's Hotel. Do you recall that?
yes, ma'am, I remember it.
we probably don't.
I read an article about Miss Annie Brown that when the Stevens Quarters would get flooded, she would bring, all those people would come and stay at the Annie Brown Hotel. She'd put pallets on the floor to help them have a place to stay while the water was high. Did y'all know Miss Annie?
I didn't. No. And Jake Kilpatrick and his wife Annie.
Mm-hmm.
I was little and I can't remember, but I do remember they had a little restaurant somewhere over there by Ford School,
Okay.
somewhere over there.
Do you remember the Tropicana?
Oh, yeah.
Where was that located?
Up there where, right up on the hill by Ford School, right across the street from Ford School.
And that was kind of a nightclub, wasn't it?
That was our nightclub.
Uh-huh.
Right, it's Tropicana, where Miss Lena's house used to be right there on the corner.
It's not, there's nothing
not
there
there
anymore,
anymore.
is it?
They got a house built there, but it used to be Tropicana. We used to go there all the time. You probably don't know.
I remember.
Oh, you remember,
But
okay.
yeah, it used to be, before it became,
Fourth and
Tropicana.
It was what-
it was Beasley Funeral Home.
There we go.
There it
We
is.
were just wondering about that today and had a picture of it. So that's where Beasley Funeral Home was first located.
Yes, ma'am.
And then,
And then they made a church out there.
well, was Beasley Funeral Home and Talbert's Funeral Home at the same location?
It started out top and then.
No, ma'am. after,
It was Tarver first and then Beasley.
Yeah,
You know, with
yeah.
it.
after the funeral home up there on the hill by the school, well, I think, Mr. Talbot, he died, and this when Beasley took over the Talbot's funeral home.
And then they eventually moved out to Bankhead Street.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you were a little boy growing up, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to go to college. I didn't have no dream for nothing else.
You wanted to go to
Just to go
college.
to college.
Did you get to do that?
No, ma'am.
What did you do? What was your occupation?
Well, when I got out of school, went in service,
Yes, sir.
and after I got out of service, I had a chance, a scholarship to go to Holly Springs MI, but when I got out of service, I felt like I wasn't gonna learn anything else, and I was tired of, I had to do what my mama and daddy told me to do when I was in service. I had to do what they told me to do, and so I just said when I got out, I was gonna go somewhere and get me a job and work and be on my own. And so when I got back home, they came down there for me to go to MI. They would give me a scholarship up there, but I didn't want to go, because I felt like I wasn't gonna learn anything, and because I really didn't want to go to school no more. And so I just gave up hope, and I just left and went to Wisconsin, got me a job. And that's where
So what kind of job did you get?
it was in a foundry,
Mm-hmm.
worked in a standard foundry.
That was pretty hard work.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you make good money?
No, ma'am, not, uh, no, ma'am. The job I had, I wasn't making that much money.
How did you know that there would be a job for you there?
Up there,
Yes, sir.
my uncle,
Mm-hmm.
he was working there at Standard Foundry, and that's how I got on up there through by him
Did you live with your uncle?
for a while.
Mm-hmm. So when did you get married?
Oh, Lord,
You may have to help him on this.
I got my first marriage. Was
I don't know about that one.
in 60, about 61 or 2, somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you marry someone from Wisconsin or
No.
someone from New Albany?
I wish I had, but no. I married a girl from Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
And that was a failure in the beginning. I heard another fellow said he married one from Arkansas, and man, they didn't do good, and so
So when did you and Miss Simpson get married?
You don't know, 1970.
Uh-huh. Do y'all have children?
yes, ma'am.
3.
3 children. Do your children live here in the area?
Mhm.
So how about
Two of
grand?
them live here, and one live in Tennessee, and then he got kids that his first marriage, they live in Wisconsin.
Do y'all have grandchildren?
Oh, yeah. We do. Great grandchildren too.
That's pretty nice, isn't it? Was your brother Arthur Lee older than you?
Yes, sir. Well, my brother and I finished together
Same time,
56.
so I believe
Okay.
behind.
My brother, he started playing, I believe, in 50, I guess maybe in 50, 51 or 52. I didn't play on the first string, first five until 54. But my brother, he played on the first string about 2 or 3 years, I guess, before I did.
He was a high scorer, wasn't he?
And Professor Woodruff, he coached there for a while. And after him, Coach Kennedy, I think he took over. And Coach Kennedy, yeah, he was my coach too.
I've heard a lot of good things about him.
Before the old school burnt, uh, they would they would fix what I call a snack or something,
Mm-hmm.
and that cut out a lot of things for us, bringing lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and I was glad of that. Only team that I remember recalling the girl team was basketball.
Mm-hmm. Did you have cheerleaders?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Did some of those cheerleaders play basketball too, or were they just cheerleaders?
Well, a couple of them played basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that about farm, this FHA,
Mm-hmm.
we would go out different places on farms and do farm work, whatever they needed, done. That's what we would do.
Like what kind of farm work?
Well, whatever the people that we go to work for them, whatever they needed done, if it's mostly in the field, we do field work.
And that would be your class.
Mhm. We went to Antioch once, and well, anyway, we went to work for him on his farm. I can't recall where he was living at, out from St. Mary out there somewhere.
Yeah. Did that make you want to be a farmer?
No,
So what did you end up doing as your occupation? You went to the foundry and you stayed there at the foundry how long? When you went to Wisconsin and you started working in the foundry, did you stay up there for the rest of your career?
no. I came back in 60, 65, and I got a job at Futorian.
Which was Stratford at first.
Mhm. What was your job there?
I did crushing foam rubber
Hmm.
mostly.
Cushion when I was there.
How did you like working there?
I liked it.
Hmm.
Best paying job in town.
It was a good opportunity, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
I've heard people say that stopped sharecropping in Union County was Futorian.
We all worked there. I
Yeah.
guess.
How long did you work at Futorian?
30 and a half years.
So that was your occupation,
I worked
furniture.
29 years.
So is that where you met your wife, at Victorian, or had y'all already met?
He met me there.
Was it there? Yeah, okay. Well, I wanted to play both of them, and so at the time in football, we didn't have that many to play, and Coach Kennedy, he invited me to come in, and practice, because I wasn't, when I started playing football, I think I weighed about 130, 31, 32, and it was guys way over me and way more than I did, but I just had wanted to play football. And basketball, started out, I wasn't too much into basketball, but it was, basketball was popular with the girls, and so that's the reason I got on the team. I really didn't want to play, but that's how I got started. I like football the best, but I could play basketball better than I could play football. But if it was me making a choice, I would play football. Because I liked it because it was rough. To me, basketball was more like a girls' game or something. Miss Geneva Wade, she never taught me. I know that was in her class, but out of the teachers there at the school, I would choose Miss Geneva Wade. Miss Geneva, she always been so kind and talk to you, with them other teachers, not downing them or anything, but they talk to you and use that board too. And I didn't, and when they whoop you, you know it. Accepting Christ, I had been having dreams, about that was something in my life was missing, and I don't know, my mother-in-law, she used to talk to me a lot about, and Miss Maddie Collins, they used to, every time they see me, always, bringing up something about Christ. And when we got married, I used to go to church, at her church, and I don't know, I just got involved in it. And I knew something was wrong with my life that I needed. And so I just, one day I just accepted Christ. And so it's different from when I was growing up. For instance, you could leave home, leave your doors open, and go to town or wherever you gotta go. You didn't have to lock nothing up. And at nighttime, you got a screen door to keep the mosquitoes out. You can leave the door open all night long, and nobody come by stealing nothing or anything, or taking anything. And now, people, you can be at home and they'll still, if they want something, they're gonna come in whether you there or not. And people, they just don't value life anymore. They soon to kill you or shoot you or do anything to you to harm you. And that's something different and that I wish could change, but I know it's not gonna change. But that's the difference that I see. A lot of things I don't understand about other countries, but the United States have always been what I call a policeman, try to keep peace and help other countries. And so some countries, they just don't, they hate the United States, and because we are different from them, their ways, and they don't like the way we do, and we don't like the way they do, so there's always confusion.
Yes, sir.
When they start mixing the school, I knew then that it wasn't gonna work out, in the beginning. But I figured that in the long run, it'll get better, but it's still gonna be segregation. It's gonna be some things that you can do and things you can't do, or they don't want you to do. And I was just glad that I didn't go to school in the mixed class, because I know a lot of times when a black person be among 4 or 5 white, then you're gonna hear the word "in."
Yes, sir.
You're gonna hear that, and so I'm just glad that I wasn't in that when they
Integrated the schools.
mhm.
It was a hard time for those students.
New Albany, this is my home, and I've always said that I was born here, and when I die, I hope I die here in my home. I have had a lot of friends when I left from Wisconsin, and I told them I was coming back home, and they wondered why was I coming back down here, because I knew the way things are going on down here, but I told them that this is my home, and I love Mississippi. I love Union County, New Albany. I love it because it's a lot of memories, good memories and bad memories. And I always try to block out the bad memories and think about the good memories. And that's one reason I came back home, because when I was in service, I've been to places here in the United States that I probably never would have seen if I hadn't went in service. And they beautiful places, but I've always said that no matter where I go, I'm coming back home. And so that's what I did, and I'm glad I did. I mean, I can, some of my friends, they told me that, you mean you going back down there and they said, I'm gonna stand on the corner because I know when you go back down there and they start beating your head, you're gonna be coming back this way and I'm gonna have to flag you down and stop you. And I said, well, I said, you know, it's a way that you can treat people. Although you know that they are wrong, but you know, you have to accept that and do the best you can and talk nice and everything. It's sometimes it's the way you yourself treat people. And so I'm back at home and I'm glad. I'm glad.